Hi friends, this is Heidi with Confidently Beautiful with Heidi, and today I'm going to show you how you can melt all of your cream tins so that you never waste product anymore. I'm going to show you how I clean my palettes as well. So happy October 1st. Make sure you subscribe and follow me, and tag all of your friends, share away. If you are watching this in replay, make sure you are commenting hashtag replay so I know that you caught this video. And I'm wearing my Hocus Pocus shirt today. It was just released. Let me know, have you watched the second one yet? Have you ever even watched the first one? Tonight we are going to be watching it for family movie night because my husband's never seen it. Isn't that crazy? So I'm all dressed up for it. So what you're going to need when you're going to melt your tins down, obviously you need your tins. I always have a bag of toothpicks around because we're going to use those to mix them up. I also have my brush cleaner here because that is how I clean my palettes. I like to have one of these empty tin lids. I always keep some of these around because they help pop out your tins so you don't get stuff all over on your fingers. I'm using the stove today. I find this is the easiest way for melting my tins. There's many different ways, and I'll tell you a few others, but I find this to be the easiest. I do not have it on yet. It's not, you don't have to preheat or anything. And then, I think that, and then a paper towel. I think that is it. Okay, so sorry, like this is a weird angle. I'm gonna kind of squat down so you can see me. But what I'm gonna do is go through and pop out any of the tins that are already getting down to the bottom. So now this one is kind of just starting to get to the bottom. You can kind of see it. And now I always get people ask, like, how do I get the tins out without making a mess? So use this tin cover and you're gonna slide it in between, just a second. Let me get a little bit better angle. Okay, hopefully you can see. I'm just gonna pop it right between, like that, and then you can just lift up and it will pop out like that. Hi, are you watching? You can also melt down, especially contour. That is one that definitely, it doesn't dry out, but it doesn't always stay as creamy. So some people will ask me, like, it's just not going on, it's not blending as well. It might just need to be warmed up. And so you can always do this to any of your tins to not refill them, but like spread it out so you don't have just that middle down to the bottom. So I'm just gonna set this right on my stove while it's still cold. These ones also are good. So warming up your contour can also work just to help make it more blendable. So you can see I have many of them that are starting to get low. So I'm gonna do the same thing and pop them out like this. And really, once you pop one out, then you can start just pulling them out like so. So I mainly do this just with my highlights, my contours, my bronzer. You can do it with any of the creams. Now, when you get to the lip and cheeks, you can do it with satin. You do have to be careful. I'm going to show you a couple. I have some like illuminators here. Now, they have sparkle in them, and you have to be very, very careful because they can separate because there's that shimmer in there. They're just a little bit different. What's the word? They're just made up a little bit different. So you have to be really careful because you can ruin your lip and cheeks, especially the glosses and shimmers, if you are not careful. And I'm going to give some tips. Oops. Here we go. I have a couple lip and cheeks here that need to be melted down. So I'm just going to pop them all out and put them on my stove here. Okay, so I think this is all of them. Oh, and then I'm also going to do this lip and cheek. You see how like there's barely any, there's stuff around the edges. Instead of having to pick at it, I'm going to melt it down. And I also have my son's, he likes to use it at night. And he's been asking me to melt it down. So here's his. This is a cherry lip conditioner. So I'm just going to plop them all here. Now, because I have so many, I think I am going to separate them out a little bit just so I'm not having to mix up so many at a time. So let's just do our creams, our highlights, the easy ones first, okay? So this is all of my highlights, contour. This is a satin lip and cheek. Hopefully you can see them. Okay, so I'm just gonna move the other ones to the side so they don't start melting. I am gonna turn on my stove just on low like so. And I can already feel the heat. So this doesn't take long at all. Now, while I am waiting a little bit, I'm gonna show you, so I'm just gonna pop out these other ones. And so I'm sure your palette is starting to look the same. It gets a little between, but also around these edges. So I am going to take a paper towel and use my brush cleaner and just do a couple spritzes of brush cleaner on there. And then I'm just going to wipe this down. Hopefully you can see. I'll show you the end product. Hopefully you can see how it's already cleaning it up. So I wouldn't spray the brush cleaner right onto your palette because it is cardboard. You don't want it to soak up too much moisture. But look at that. It looks brand new. So I just do that with all of my, like occasionally I'll take all my products out and I'll wipe them all down. And I'm not gonna take all of that out today, but you can even, can you see how like there's buildup right there? So I'm just gonna do, I haven't even used any more brush cleaner, just keep using it with that couple spritzes. And like it looks brand new, isn't it awesome? So the brush cleaner doesn't only work on just your brushes, but it works on your palette as well. Okay, so I can see that it's starting, let me get a better view. Let me just turn this around. So you can see how it's starting to like glisten a little bit. So they're starting to melt down. I don't like to turn it up really high and have it like melt super fast. So as you can see right here, I just have it on low. There's a low, it's hard to read. Let's see. It says, no, you can't see it. Anyway, it's on low. Okay, let me turn this back around. Okay. So when they start kind of glistening like that, I just grab, I always have my paper towel near me and toothpicks. Okay, now you do have to be careful, it is hot. So let's start, I'm gonna pick which one looks really, like it's really melty. So this is my Bella bronzer. And the tins they're metal obviously, so they start getting hot. Now, I wish, hopefully you can see this, but there's even, sometimes we get debris in there. You guys, we know that, you know, there's always hair and dust and all that kind of stuff all around us that we don't always see. I think I just put some in my hair. So be careful, don't touch your hair while you do this. But when I'm moving this around, I'm actually seeing it's picking up some of that gunk. I want to take that out. This is going to make that foundation or whatever product it is, it's going to just really make it all buttery soft again and nice and clean as well. Now, if you see any of that kind of debris on top, try to clean that off. I use like a, I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's not an antibacterial. I can always put it in the comments later. But okay, so I just mixed it all around, got all that yucky debris out, and then filled the whole base. And now I'm just gonna slide it. See, I'm just using my toothpick to slide it so I don't have to touch it. And then I'm using that paper towel to wipe off stuff. Now, because these are all, they're not all quite melted yet, so I'm gonna leave my oven on, and then I'm just gonna flip to the other side of my toothpick, and I'm gonna start doing it to my other ones. And this one doesn't have much of that debris, or you don't really get a lot of like your brush hairs, because our brushes, unless you're using your own brushes, if you're using the Seint brushes, they don't really shed. So that is one nice thing. So I'm just moving that product around, taking it out from the edges and pulling it to the middle so that I have a full tin again. And I'm just moving it over. Okay, and then you can always get a new toothpick and just keep doing that. So hopefully you can see. And I really like stir it because I want, and just be careful because once it starts getting wet, you can like splatter it too. Okay, I'm gonna shut my stove off so it doesn't keep getting hotter. Yep. And then just wipe it off. So easy. Are you watching?
I go by you because it's the first Saturday of the month.
I don't know if you can hear the sirens going off. It's the first Saturday of the month. That's when they do their testing. And our family has gone through a tornado before, and it can be a little scary for the little ones. So hopefully you can really see what I'm doing. I'm just moving it around. Be gentle so you aren't getting makeup on your stove. And I know this can kind of be boring to watch, but I know I always get lots of questions on how do you do this? And some women that kind of are like, oh, I'm almost out. I promise if you remelt, you're gonna get so much more product, so much more use from this. And then you'll never waste any of this product. So I just moved it all around. I'm gonna do these, I'm gonna get a new paper towel. Can you hear the sirens? Okay. 2 more of these, and then I'm going to show you how we do the ones that are glossy and they're a little bit harder. So this one is a bronzer. The bronzers I find melt down just like your highlight and your contour. Now I said there's other way people melt these. Now when I'm doing a lot like this, I like to do it here on the stove. Some people also will turn their oven on and put them all on a sheet pan. The only reason I like to slow this process down just a little bit. Like I said, we're gonna get to those tough ones that you have to keep mixing so they don't separate. So I don't prefer, if you're just doing highlights and contours, you could totally do that. Turn your oven on really low, put all of your tins on there, and then stir them down, and then you'll be good. So even this lip and cheek right here, this is nude, and I can already see that it kind of separates. So you just have to be really careful. Let me move this over. Let's see if you can see this. I'll pull it back here. So I'm just gonna keep, oh, let's get it hot again. So these dry really quick. So I'm just making sure I'm stirring this around and that it dries right back to how it was. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how these all have already dried that I did. Because I don't have any product on my hand. So let me turn this over. So there's like the first one I did. So they're already drying. Those ones are still kind of drying. That one is the one I just did. But I just moved around. You could try to make it all nice and smooth on top, but you don't have to. Like, I just mixed them around. Okay, so now let's do the tricky ones. So let's move these ones out of the way. Okay, clean off my stove right there. Okay, so I'm gonna do just a few at a time. So here, I'll show you, these are illuminators. I'm gonna turn it on low again. So these are the illuminators. Now, because there's that shimmer in there, there's the, it's just made up differently than our highlights. You just have to be a little more aware that they could separate. So just you have to be stirring them a lot more, even while they're cooling. Another way people have melted their tins is on a hair straightener. So if you just have one, you could set it there. Be careful because like it said, it gets hot, and I know a lot of people that will grab it and will tip and then make a huge mess. So I don't usually do that. I've also done it on a wax melter. I find that the wax melter is a little bit slower because they don't get super hot, right? I mean, that's kind of the point of a wax melter, or yeah, wax melter. Okay. So let me turn this around, see if I can do this two-handed. Okay, so you can see that it's shimmery. You see how it's shimmery? This is one of our perfumes actually, so it's rose gold. I'm gonna move it over, and I'm just gonna keep moving it while it's cooling. So it's off the stove right now, and I'm just gonna keep stirring it while it's cooling. And it's already cooling pretty well. And I'm just gonna let it sit, and that one should be fine. Okay, let's flip it over and do this other one. This one is the Glow Illuminator. This one has lasted me forever. Now this one, because it's older and I've used it so much, I've got a little gunk in here. So do you see how that, I don't know if you can see it. See, there's just debris probably from my hair or whatever when I have it open. So I'm gonna shut this off and then I'm gonna move it over here. I'm gonna keep stirring it so that the shimmer doesn't separate too much. I wish you could see that. See? Hopefully you can see it. I can't see what you guys see. Okay. And it's already cooling already. Okay. So now I am going to put my lip and cheeks on here. Now because it's pretty warm, it's probably gonna go pretty fast. Okay. So I just watch them, and once they start kind of glistening and they look like they're melting, then I'll just start stirring it. So this one's pretty. This one's got a little bit of a layer on here of debris. And if it starts feeling too hot, just go ahead and shut off the oven. Or the stove, I guess. So I would say these are the most common ways of people melting down their tins. So this is a really glittery one. So I'm just mixing it around while it's cooling so I don't have all the glitter go to one layer. I'm gonna keep it all mixed in. Sorry if you can't see that. Okay, and then this last one. And this is just one of our glosses. So this one I'm just gonna mix, take it off. Can you see how they're all cooling off? Pretty easy, right? So if you just did this with one or two, you'd be done super quick. I am so bad, I always wait till last, till like I have a lot of them. Okay. Last but not least, we're gonna do our lip conditioners. My son's gonna be so happy that I got his done. So I'm just gonna set them on. And these ones I just like to do when I just get to those edges and it's so hard to get my finger in there. So I'm gonna let those melt down a little bit. Let me show you how the other ones are looking. Look at that. They're all nice and full again. So nice, isn't that great? So make sure you do these with your tins so that you don't ever waste product. You don't have to be digging in them. It's such a good tip that you must do so you don't waste any of that product. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in quickly, move it around, and I'm really just pulling the edges around so that they fill back up that tin so my son can get to the product a lot easier. And then I'm just gonna pull it off. Okay, same thing, flip it to the other side of the toothpick and then pull it. Now a cool tip, and I actually haven't done this before, but you can make your own colors. Just by, if you have a little bit of one color left and a little bit of another color, so like especially those lip and cheeks, you can mix them. So when it gets all liquidy like this, you can pour the two tins together and mix them together and you can make your own shade. Isn't that awesome? I've also seen ladies do it with, if you have like a chapstick, like a tube of something that you really like, but you still want it all in your compact, all you have to do is melt it down into one of these tins and then you can have it all ready and it'll be in your tin. Isn't that awesome? It's hard to see, but the lip conditioner now is right here instead of like around the edges. But one more time, I'm gonna show you all of these and then I'm just gonna pop them back into my, isn't that awesome? I'm just gonna pop them all back into my palette and then I'm good to go. So make sure you do this with your tins so you don't lose any product. And then also make sure you have that brush cleaner to clean your brushes and those palettes. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and follow for more tips and tricks, seeing how I do my makeup with Seint, and have a great day. Bye.